Ladies and gentlemen, for the next few weeks or many weeks, the debate around the Kenyan, African, and maybe global politics is going to be around Raila Amolo Odinga's loss in Ethiopia. And people are asking questions: was it necessary for Raila Amolo Odinga to be subjected to another loss? What were the chances? What was Ruto's role? Is there anything that he should have done better? Was there a room for improvement? And as Raila jets back home, what is the next move? But did you realize that the delegation that went there apparently to give Raila a moral support was just too large, if for lack of a better term? But there is one man that was very conspicuous, and people are still asking, why was it there? And this is the presence of the National Intelligence Service boss, Noordin Haji. Noordin Haji was there, and his presence is something that has raised eyebrows. Some people are saying that maybe Noordin was there to convince the other Muslim, states that we are together with Raila. Maybe his presence would have been conceived as an endorsement to Raila so that the other Muslim states could also follow suit. Others are also saying that William Ruto does not want to take any chances because there was a large delegation, others who are very close to Raila, ODM members, others who are not. And so he was there to ensure that he keeps Raila. Yeah, he checks Raila because it is said William Ruto does not trust Raila. He trusts nobody. And so the presence of Noordin Haji was also there. But others are saying that it was just meant to show Raila's supporters that William Ruto supported Raila Amolo Odinga using the whole government and every department. You saw Raila and Ruto driving in the same vehicle. All those were gimmicks, just to, they were there for optics to show the Raila supporters that, William Ruto amejaribu, you know. But then, ladies and gentlemen, someone is asking a question. And I'm also going to tell you the very, what do I call it, controversial or ridiculous tweet from Roselyn Akombe. Before we read Akombe, Honorable Caleb Amisi, a young politician, some of the very youngest politicians in ODM, by the way, he was also voted number 5 among the MPs who prudently used the NGCDF. Is one person who told William Ruto, we will impeach you. Just the other day, he told the officials of ODM that when Raila comes back, he has to tell us whether we are in government or not. Otherwise, ODM is going to be divided in the middle. We don't want people who speak from both sides of the mouth. ODM is breathing hot and cold. So Caleb Amisi is a man who speaks his mind. In fact, the other day he said, if ODM is going to support Kasongo, then he's not boarding. So this is what Caleb Amisi is saying, that the purpose of NIS is to provide intelligence useful to help the country safeguard her sovereignty and territorial integrity as well as achieve her objectives. In this AUC campaign, Noordin Haji failed miserably. By now, Musalia and Haji should have resigned for lying and subjecting Baba to a loss that he doesn't deserve. Kenya needs a renaissance. According to Honorable Amisi, he feels Haji failed because Haji, according to him, when I try to interpret this tweet, he believes that Noordin Haji holds a position and it is his prerogative to give the correct information. He should have told Raila that he imeenda, your chances are small. What do you think? Was there any value that Noordin Haji was adding there. Let me tell you why maybe William Ruto should have not carried Noordin Haji. Noordin Haji is the epitome of abductions in the country, and those are not my words. Just the other day, the former Attorney General, JB Muturi, revealed to the nation that it was Noordin Haji who abducted, or rather his team abducted his son and held him, do I call it incommunicado, for hours. And they were tormented as a family. Families and friends were gathering in his house. It took the intervention of William Ruto, the president, for his son to be released. Now, his presence, being the epitome of abductions, could have influenced the other nations negatively. And I want you to see what Roselyn Akombe is writing. Roselyn Akombe, just hours after Raila's defeat, she went to her Twitter handler and said very simple words. She's saying, forever in our hearts, keep watching over our motherland, our dear children. And she gives a picture of the Gen Zs who are killed. They are being carried there. We remember these videos and pictures. And she's saying this just hours after Raila was defeated. And when you try to connect this, some people think that maybe there are nations that felt that William Ruto, because Raila is also supporting him, they do not respect human rights. They are known for human rights violation. Not only that, Kizza Besigye was abducted from our soil. And when you saw the pictures, the video of Kizza Besigye, he looked very weak, malnourished, very frail, and people are wondering, someone was telling that he's on hunger strike. So, ladies and gentlemen, Akombe is reminding us that maybe, if I try to interpret this, maybe, just maybe, some leaders rejected Raila because of that. But do you think this really played a role? If you ask me, ever since the African Union Commission was initiated, all the candidates that have won come from the Francophone countries or the Muslim nations, except for one lady from South Africa. And this tells me that maybe this was not taken into consideration so much. But back at home, youths had logged into the websites and they were telling the African states, please don't elect Raila Odinga. He betrayed us. Well, I don't know whether they also considered this, because do you want to tell me that there is any other head of state that is clean? Let's just begin by looking at East Africa. Would you say that because Ruto is violating human rights by abducting Gen Zs and the way they were killed, do you think Museveni is different? What about Suluhu? Because the same week that Kizza Besigye was abducted, yet you cannot abduct someone from our soil without a coordination from the two countries. The same week there was another lady who was abducted, a very staunch critic of Madame Suluhu. So I don't think they're different. If you look at Rwanda, Congo, and all that, it's the same. So I don't know whether the presidents would have looked at what is happening back at home. But one thing I'm sure of is that here in Kenya, Gen Zs really wanted Raila to be defeated, because they say you fed on our blood when you got into a broad-based government, a handshake with William Samoei Ruto. Or what do you think? Why would Roselyn Akombe remind us of these pictures now, just hours after Raila suffered humiliation, defeat? Why? I think she's just reminding us, and it is like she's saying a luta continua, because she's saying forever in our hearts, keep watching over our motherland, our dear children. Keep watching over our motherland. But I want us to go back to Caleb Hamisi. Caleb is saying that even Mudavadi should resign. Why? They failed Raila. Do you think Ruto did his best? Because Ruto really gave money to that secretariat. Raila moved from one country to the other, and I believe was using taxpayers' money. So if it is on that account, William Ruto did his best. But even if Musalia Mudavadi and all these people would have done their part, let me repeat for the last time. Ruto's position concerning the war in Congo and the war between Israel and Hamas must have also contributed to the loss of support from some of these African states. And you saw the AU they invited the president of Palestine and he addressed them. This tells you the connection that they have. And it tells you that that was a moral support. They gave support. It seems they didn't honor Israel in terms of the war that is going on. So I don't know the entire team because the backstops with William Ruto is the one who proposed Raila, is the one who has been championing the campaigns. But I think if you ask me, he really failed Raila in terms of his relationship with the other presidents. How I wish that he should have behaved differently and chose his words, especially in terms of war that is going on within the continent. As Ruto's comments backfire on Raila, Ruto is in the front line trying to broker peace in South Sudan, North Sudan, and all these regions. I don't know. That's what I call having your cake and eating it. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot be in charge of a country where abductions are taking place, including abductions of foreigners, and then you still present yourself as someone who wants to broker peace and tranquility. To me, no, I was a cunning. I don't know what to think about Hamisi. He's blaming Noordin Haji. Of course, we've now gotten another blame in the basket. It was Uhuru, it was the East African community, now it is Noordin Haji. By the end of tomorrow, we'll have a full basket of who and what to blame. The truth is, there were several weaknesses, but this is now the second time we're defeated. The other time it was Amina Mohammed. We need to rethink. We just need to sit down and rethink on exactly what is happening and how we can maneuver.